Hello, my name is Charles Upton, and I'm going to read you something I wrote for something I put together called the Covenants of the Prophet training course, which you'll find out about. This one is called The World is Against Us, but God is for Us. Religion in the 21st century, like most other things, has fallen on hard times. All the religions are under attack by those who hate God. Religious groups who hate each other are killing each other in the name of God, and the God haters love nothing more than turning one religion against another. And these are only some of the forces that believers have to contend with in times like these. Even when atrocities are not being committed, the simple daily pressure of trying to live a life of faith in God in the days of the fitan, the tribulation, with the hammers of the dunya endlessly beating on every faith community and every soul in every community, is formidable in the extreme. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, probably said it best. In the latter days, holding on to true religion will be like trying to hold in your hand a burning coal. So why hold on to it? Why not cast it away and be done with it? Some may stay with the religion of their ancestors for, quote, cultural reasons. Some Jews, even if they can't say they believe in God, will still believe in Judaism because they are Jews. There are Arabs who say, I am an Arab, so I must be a Muslim. Like some Jews, they will try to reduce their religion to little more than a convenient tag for an ethnic identity. And many Christians only attend church for shallow social reasons or as a convenient base for this or that form of social action, unsure if God requires much more of them in direct face-to-face terms than a quick Lord, Lord, if that is, they still believe in him at all. It certainly appears as if many people believe that they believe in God, when in reality they do not. Yet there are plenty of believers who hold on to their ancient revelations in true faith, knowing that these paths have come from God because they have actually met God on the path they have chosen, or at least heard echoes of his footsteps. Not even the militant atheist can really rid him or herself of the deep shadow of God. How many atheists will deny the existence of God with one breath and then hurl curses at him with the next? And few people, even few charlatans and hypocrites, really have the stamina to remain for years in a community where God is praised and petitioned, unless some spark of love for him lies hidden in their souls. Whether or not they admit it, no one stays in the company of believers unless, in some lost corner of his being, he still hopes that someday he will believe. So the source and power of the covenants of the Prophet Muhammad, with their unremitting appeal to the intrinsic brotherhood of all who love God, is love and nothing else. It is love that presses the believers up against the burning rock of this world and gives them the strength and the courage to stand it. Like the Irish poet W.B. Yeats once wrote, love is like the lion's tooth. As for those who commit the atrocities, whatever reasons they may give for their actions, it is easy to hate them, and certainly both honor and justice require that we hate their crimes. It takes little effort to be horrified at and to mourn what they have done to others. But what about what they have done to themselves? Do we ever think of that? When the character of Raskolnikov in Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment, the starved, half-mad, ideology-crazed student who killed an old pawnbroker woman just to prove that he was part of a spiritual elite who are beyond good and evil, when he confessed his crime to his beloved Sonia, her spontaneous cry was, "What have you done to yourself?" Yes, what have they done to themselves? When someone commits murder accompanied by torture, that person has put himself outside the human circle, out of the reach of the amana, beyond the pale of the trust. They have cauterized their own hearts with a wound that glows fiery red whenever they try to take even the first step back toward the humanity they have ruined, toward the love they have betrayed. It is a hard fate to be killed by terrorists. The only harder fate is to be the terrorist who did the killing. But this is something that only the love of God can know. Everyone who falls short of that love, unless their soul is entirely stripped of the last spark of justice, will dream only of delicious revenge. Revenge is sweet, we say in the English-speaking world, but the truth is, revenge is not sweet. It may be sweet on the tongue, but it is bitter on the stomach. The most formidable retribution, the hardest justice, is not revenge, it is love. The sin, the crime, the disease cries out the loudest when it is driven to the very brink of healing. Forgiveness is always there at the end of the fire. Yes, but who can believe it? The torturers? The mass murderers? Nonetheless, God, if he so wills, can make them believe it, even if we cannot, even if we can hardly believe it ourselves. So let us hand them over to God and be done with it, done with revenge, done with trying to do his work for him. As the great American poet Walt Whitman wrote, the murder is to the murderer and comes back most to him. The theft is to the thief and comes back most to him. The love is to the lover and comes back most to him. The gift is to the giver and comes back most to him. It cannot fail. Thus, the origin and work of the covenants of the prophet, see my YouTube video, The Model of Muslim Chivalry and the Virtues of the Prophet Muhammad, to learn more about these covenants. The origin and the work of the covenants of the prophet is love and nothing else. When the world's resistance becomes heavy and dry and cruel and cold, the love of God is always there to turn to. Allah and his names, Al-Wadud, the loving kind, Al-Ra'uf, the all-pitying, Al-Rahman, the all-merciful, Al-Rahim, the all-compassionate. May Allah, Al-Hadi, the guide, and Al-Qadir, the all-powerful, guide and empower us in this work.